great to be joined by Makeena here at the Two Counties Independent Film Festival, and your film Green Grass is just shown at the festival. Tell me a little bit about your film and why you made it.
So our film is called Green Grass. It is about two university students who are both deaf but experience that in a very different way. And it's about their sense of self and finding their identity and their place in the world, which is something I think we can all relate to, really.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a story that isn't very often told in the media, and to really see it from the perspective of people who are deaf, and as you say, it's a spectrum. It's showing that it's not just being deaf. There's also different levels of hearing loss, and people have different experiences of that. And I found it really powerful how in the film it shows the experience of somebody that hasn't learned sign language to then be in a situation where they realise that they can't really fit in with that deaf community in the same way as if they'd been brought up with it.
Yeah, you're so right, and I think this happens with a lot in mainstream film, where the experience is put down to kind of a token experience, and like you say, it's very nuanced. It's a spectrum. There's very different lived experiences and struggles within that, and something we're really grateful to sort of hear at the film's premiere at Deaf Fest. A lot of people came up to us and had the conversation that they'd never seen that reflected on screen, and it was so representative of their experience that they didn't learn sign language, or they weren't brought up in a household who knew sign language, and that they kind of didn't feel like they fit into either community. It was somewhere in the middle. So it's been incredible to have that reception and have that feedback. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and I feel like you've really told that story in a really powerful way. And I think the exciting thing about this is that, you know, you've included inclusivity in your filmmaking as well. So half of your crew were deaf people, and you had a whole team of people, deaf people and people that can hear, all working together. That must have brought about its own challenges.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not something that's done a lot. I don't really think off the top of my head of big examples of trying to reach that statistic of we were aiming for 50-50 split. We kind of got more sort of 40-60, and because it's not really a done thing, especially at independent level, there's no real blueprint for that. So it was very much a learning process for me, especially as a producer, of running an accessible set, of what that looks like, of what I thought it looked like, and, you know, learning from your mistakes. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that you can ask, and I think there's such a pressure on individuals, not even necessarily in the film industry, but everywhere. We kind of feel this, like we should know the answer to everything for everyone, and if we don't, we're being rude. And it's understandable that you wouldn't know someone's access needs, so you can ask, and that's okay. And if you're not sure or don't know, you can ask. And I think it's unfortunately almost like a negative byproduct of this cancel culture, that people are afraid to be seen to not get something perfect, so it makes them afraid to try, which is what we were basically trying and learning with this, very much so.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people are terrified of getting it wrong or saying the wrong thing and making mistakes, and they just avoid the situation completely. And you're right, you just need to do your best, and don't be afraid to admit that you're not perfect. You don't know the exact right thing to say all the time.
Yeah, 100%. It's being graceful with yourself, having compassion for yourself, and also building a team that's understanding. Like, I'm so grateful to everyone that put trust in us. Like, it's a huge trust, right, to jump on board with a couple of people trying a project of this scale, and also working with a community and saying that you want to advocate for a community rather than speak for them, and then trusting us to do that rather than to, you know, kind of almost act a bit tokenistically. So I really appreciate that it was a big risk for a lot of the people involved who came on board, and hopefully they're as proud of the film as we are.
I think it was also great to see the support of the BFI in this project, because they put some funding into helping you make the film, and obviously it's still very difficult to do something like this on a very tight budget, but it must be encouraging to see institutions like that getting behind a message like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they were pivotal. We couldn't have done this without BFI support. We also were very lucky to have 3 brands that financially partnered with us as well. So we had a sign language learning app called Lingvano, Skillshare, who were like an online learning platform, and Sign Solutions, who are an interpreter agency. So to kind of have that backing and also that understanding from BFI, which obviously is huge, and the resources and the support that they give you is massive, but also the brands that have the reach and access resources too. We wouldn't have been able to do it without any single kind of pillar of that. So yeah, it's been really huge.
That's fantastic. And what are the plans for the film? You're taking it around lots of festivals at the moment?
Yeah, so it's just at the start of its festival run. So we've put it in for a lot of things. We're very excited to see where it's going to go. It had its premiere at DeafFest, and it's just done its premiere in America at Rhode Island. So yeah, exciting.
And how are they taking it in America? Because Americans, they've got a different form of sign language, haven't they? So I guess for the American audience, they might not have understood some of the BSL in it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something I think that's not common knowledge in the hearing community, is that sign language is, like language, completely different. So we actually won Best Director at Rhode Island.
Wow.
So yeah, thank you very much. It's very deserved. Aram is amazing at what he's done. So yeah, I think from that, I take that it's doing okay.
No, that's fantastic. Well, good luck with that and future filmmaking. It's great to see so much success for local filmmaker and producer, and good luck with the rest of the film.
Amazing. Thank you so much.